Hello guys, welcome to this tutorial. And in this tutorial, I will show you how to make a flashlight similar to the one in Resident Evil Village, which I thought looked pretty good. And yeah, here we go. I already have that set up, so I'm just gonna show you what I'm talking about. We'll press E, and there you have the light with the volumetric fog effect, like in Resident Evil Village, which I think looks pretty nice. And then you can press H and it will turn off again. What we're gonna do basically is we're gonna first of all, I do have a environmental setup in here. I have a Svogi enabled, although you don't really need that. Um, I have a volumetric fog in here, which is pretty important. Also, you need to have the volumetric fog enabled. I think it's yeah, it's this variable, and you need to have it set on 1. And if you want to do that, you need to um, go to the project that you have. I'm using the game SDK. That's another important thing, that I'm using game SDK for this. And if you don't have a game SDK, it might be slightly different. But this is the project folder, and you need to have the um, user file, user.cfg, and in here you need to add the this thing over here, the CVAR e volumetric fog 1, and it will load automatically. If you don't have that, you can see it says require app restart, and if you restart the app, it won't be enabled. So you need to enable it by doing it that way. And you can see I have it right here, the first line. Okay, so now that we have that, I'm gonna actually delete this, and we're gonna create new light. I'm gonna call this light so we're not confused about it. And we need projector light, which is this. You can see it's squared, which works perfectly for the flashlight. And for this, we don't really need the volumetric fog. You can really see that it's kind of weird when it moves. The volumetric fog behaves weird when it moves, so I'm just going to disable it by unchecking affect volumetric fog. And okay, now I'm gonna slightly decrease the angle to 35. I think it's wide enough. Maybe it could be even less, maybe like 30 even. Because by default the angle value is really big for the flashlight. And another thing we can do is we can use projector. We can use projected texture. These are the default ones that are in Game SDK, but you can create your own. I think this looks pretty great. And basically, I'm not sure if I can show them in here, but basically it works like a alpha map. If you're creating a projected texture, meaning the white is where the light will be projected at 100% and black is 0%. And you can sort of play like in these corners, maybe like give it a gray color, which means something like a 50%, you know. So yeah, that's a guide to that. It's basically black and white texture. And yeah, right. So now we're gonna add a point light. Uh, and we don't want it to show any light actually. And we only want to affect the volumetric vac. So basically, it creates the vac effect. I'm gonna decrease the diffuse multiplier to, I think, 0.1 is good. And we're gonna move the light to the front, something like that. Okie dokie. So that's the light setup. Maybe we can decrease it just a little bit more, and we see what works the best. Okay, so now we're gonna go to flow graph and create a new entity for that, and I created a flow graph called flashlight. And so basically I'm gonna get rid of everything in here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna oh crap is we're gonna go to entity, entity attachment X. Now we're gonna find a local player which we can either like search in here, or we can hit Q and type in local player. That's it, and attach it to here to choose entity. And we're gonna go to joint name, and we're gonna search for BIP01 camera. This is where we want to attach the flashlight, or the light from the flashlight. And now we're gonna get entity ID. Okay, and so while we have selected the light entity, we're gonna go to flow graph and right click on this and hit assign selected entity. I'm gonna drag the ID to target ID, and that's it. Now we want to search for move entity to. Again, we're gonna go assign selected entity, and we're gonna go with time and 0.1. And what's basically this means is that it's gonna move the entity out of the way when it's disabled. Because with the new entities, you're not able to disable them as the legacy entity. Like when you had the legacy light entity, you could disable it in flow graph, which is something that you cannot do at this point. With the new ones, at least I didn't find a way. So I'm using move entity 2 and just moving them to 000, which is out of the player's range, and so they will disappear basically. So now we need to go to. I'm gonna go to debug, input key, and I'm gonna go with E for enabling it, and H for disabling it. So got this. We also need a multiplexer, which basically means you can have multiple inputs in here. And so basically, if we press H, and by default, by start, we want to have the light disabled. And also it will add another start node. And by default, we want to enable the input keys. And if E is pressed, we want to attach the light. And if H is pressed, we want to move the light. And we also want to detach the light. So that should be everything. And we can jump in. You can see the light is disabled. And if I press E, the light is enabled. So yeah, that's basically it. Maybe you can kind of play with the settings a little bit. Maybe decrease the volumetric fog to like this number. And yeah, I think this looks a little bit better. So yeah, this is basically the similar thing that they did in Resident Evil Village, that you don't have like a flashlight in your hand, but it's like strapped to your body somewhere. So yeah. And if you want, you can also add a audio trigger, and if you press E, you may have some kind of audio effect or sound effect for taking out the flashlight, and another one for taking it out. So you can do that as well, but I'm not doing that in here because I don't have the sound effects. But yeah, this is how you create a flashlight with a simple flashlight. And I hope you like this tutorial. A last thing you can do, I almost forgot, is you can use light animations. Um, not that, sorry. Yeah, you can go, I like this effect. Like yeah, like the light is imperfect a little bit. So yeah, you can use that as well, and that looks pretty cool. So yeah, I hope you like this tutorial. If you do like it, if you do like this tutorial, you can hit a like button or subscribe or share this video. Or you can dislike and tell me what you didn't like. So yeah, that's it, and see you in the next